car when the road was quiet. I've said it lying in bed when the world went dark. I've said it in my thoughts when I didn't know how else to steady myself. Sometimes I whisper it just to hear how it sounds in silence. Sometimes I hold it in my chest like a secret, too precious to expose, because your name carries weight now, not heavy like a burden, heavy like something sacred, like something that matters. I said your name because I meant it, because you were already on my mind before the conversation even started, and I think I'm done pretending that what I feel for you is small. It isn't. It's slow, it's deep, it's real. You probably don't even realize what you've done to me, how your voice lingers long after the call ends, how your smile appears in my mind without warning, how your words have slowly replaced the places where doubt used to live. You didn't force your way into my life. You didn't demand space. You didn't announce yourself loudly. You just showed up, soft, honest, unassuming, and somehow everything in me began to rearrange itself around you. You slowed the noise in my head. You softened the sharp edges I didn't even know were there. You reminded me that peace doesn't always live in silence. Sometimes it lives in someone's voice. That love doesn't always arrive as fireworks or grand declarations. Sometimes it arrives quietly and builds a home in the way someone listens to you. That's what you did. You became the quiet place I didn't know I needed. Now I think of you everywhere, in the middle of a store, when I see something small and think she'd like this. When a song plays I've heard 100 times, and suddenly I wonder how it would sound with you beside me. When I think about where my life is going and realize you're already there, not as an option, not as a possibility, as a certainty. You didn't just touch my heart, you shaped it, softened it, taught it how to feel safe again. So, yes, I said your name, and I'll say it again, because it's part of how I breathe. Now, there were so many moments where I almost told you, moments where the words sat right at the edge of my lips, waiting for courage to catch up, like when you laughed at something small and I wasn't listening to what you were saying. I was watching how alive you looked, how peaceful, how beautifully unaware you were of the way you had taken residence in me. I held back then, not because I didn't feel enough, but because I felt too much. Some feelings deserve patience. Some truths need time to grow roots. And now here I am no longer hiding behind silence, because love, real love, isn't something you whisper forever. It's something you eventually honor. I don't know where this path leads. I don't know how tomorrow will unfold. But I know this, saying your name changed me. It made everything feel clearer, more honest, more grounded. And if loving you means standing in that truth, then I'm ready. Not loudly, not dramatically, but fully. Over my heart, I wanted to say it then. I wanted to look you in the eye and whisper, you have no idea what you mean to me. The words were right there, pressing against my chest, begging to be spoken, but I didn't, not because I didn't feel it, but because I felt it too deeply. Or that night when you shared something personal, something that hurt, you tried to sound steady, but your voice cracked just slightly. Only for a second, I noticed. I always notice. I wanted to pull you closer, wrap my arms around all that pain, and tell you you're safe with me always. But again, I stayed quiet, not because I didn't care, but because I didn't want to rush your heart. You're too special to be hurried, too precious to be treated like a moment when you are, in truth, the whole story. So I loved you silently, in the way I checked in, without making it obvious, in the way I stayed up late when I knew you needed someone to talk to, in the way I remembered the small details you thought no one noticed, how you take your coffee, what makes you withdraw, what makes you laugh when you're trying not to, and all those almost moments, they added up, every single one of them. They led me here to this steady, quiet decision. You're the one, even if you don't know it yet. You're the one I want to protect, not from life, but from ever having to question whether you're loved the right way. You're the one I want to choose, not just when things are easy, but when it's hard, when we're tired, when patience runs thin, when everything else feels uncertain. Because what I feel for you isn't temporary. It isn't fragile. It's real. And if I ever get the chance to love you out loud, really, love you in full daylight, in front of the world, I'll do it softly but clearly, not to impress anyone, not to prove anything, but so you never have to wonder, never have to guess, never have to read between the lines or second guess a silence. Because when someone holds a place in your heart this deeply, they deserve certainty. So I'll love you in the details, in the way I say your name, not fast, not casually, but like it matters, because it does. In the way I reach for your hands, not just when it's easy, but when it's uncomfortable, when it's quiet, when it's real. I love you by defending your heart, not just in front of others, but in the way I speak to you when you're tired, emotional, not feeling like your strongest self. I love you in the everyday things, bringing you coffee the way you like it, asking how you slept and meaning it, sending that message not because I have to, but because I want you to know you're on my mind always. I love you out loud by showing up, not only when everything is glowing, but when life slows down, when plans fall apart, when moods shift, when things feel messy, because that's when love matters most. I won't make you guess if I'm all in. I won't make you wonder where you stand. I won't give you half-hearted love wrapped in pretty words with no action behind them. I'll give you presence, consistency, soft hands, steady eyes, the kind that say, you're safe here, you're loved here, you belong here. You'll never have to ask, are you sure about me? Because everything I do, every word, every choice, every moment I stay will already be your answer. I've waited a long time for someone like you, longer than I ever admitted out loud, long enough that I started to believe maybe it wasn't going to happen. I met people before you. Some came close, some stayed for a while, some made promises they never planned to keep, and for a time I stopped hoping. I told myself, love like this was just something people talked about, not something meant for me. Then you appeared, not loudly, not all at once. You came into my life like a soft breath, easy, unexpected, steady. and something in me, something that had been asleep for a very long time, woke up. You didn't try to fix me. You didn't ask me to become someone else. You just made space for me. And slowly, I found myself becoming someone I actually liked again. Someone gentler, someone more patient, someone who believed that maybe forever was still possible. So now that I found you, this soft, rare soul who makes love feel like peace, I'm not letting you go. Not in my heart, not in my plans, not in the quiet places where your name already lives. You don't know it yet, but I've already chosen you again and again in 100 silent ways. And if love is a choice, then you are mine. I chose you before certainty, before promises, before knowing where this would lead. I chose you in quiet moments, alone nights when honesty felt heavier than fear. I chose you when nothing was guaranteed, when staying silent felt safer than speaking. Yet my heart kept leaning toward you, softly, steadily. Inevitably, you became my pause, my calm, the thought that softened long days, the name my mind returned to without effort, without warning, without reason, except feeling I didn't fall. Suddenly, dramatically, I settled into you slowly, like trust, like warmth, like home. You didn't take space. Loudly, you arrived, gently, naturally, and somehow everything inside made room. I noticed how silence felt lighter when I imagined you listening somewhere, how my breathing changed thinking of you, how tension left my shoulders unannounced. I began measuring time differently, not by hours, but moments with you, moments remembered, moments imagined, moments hoped. My woman, this is for you. I said your name today, not casually, not by habit, not because the moment demanded it. I said your name because I wanted to, because it rose in me before I could stop it, because holding it inside felt heavier than letting it out. I was with someone, just talking, nothing special, nothing intense. And then your name slipped from my lips. Soft, careful, real, and the moment it left me. Something shifted. It wasn't loud, wasn't static, didn't stop room, but inside me, something beyond just realizing in that instant, your name is no longer just a word, it's a rhythm that moves with sing. Your name felt like open in front of long door and was door itself I didn't need to walk through. But the truth is, the moment I said your name, I knew I